So the training was sort of in the process of while it was already going on it.
Okay, so that's better. What the young lady back there said is what usually happens. Whenever we are going to have a new change, right, as part of our change strategy, if we have it, we think we've got to give training on it. So before a change is even rolled out, we provide training on it, right? And that is fundamentally exactly what we should be doing, right? That is the typical role. We get together. Senior leadership says, okay, we've got this change to implement. Here's the strategy. HR, you're in charge. We need to go out and hire new people, change the org construct. We need to align compensation to the benefits of the change so we can change behavior. We send out an announcement, here's the change. We hold a training session. We get everybody together, and everybody gets the new training on the system, and then you roll out the change. Right? The problem is people start to work with the new change, and they might have had the training days or even weeks ago before they actually start using the new software. Right? Training should actually be focused after you have been associated, you've had the time to experience the new process, the new procedure, the new software. Training should not be rolled out until you've had the opportunity to put the hands on it. Right? So you can give initial overview training. Yep, we're rolling out this new software. Here's the concept, here's the idea. Let the people use it, play with it for a couple of weeks. When you do that, you can address training now based upon their specific needs, based upon what they specifically don't understand, right? So you can have a much more focused training that actually addresses what their concerns and needs are with what you're doing, rather than broad overview training that doesn't really provide any value whatsoever.
Brian?
Yes?
Does that have to do with the type of change? For example, is involved in a culture change in an organization from a traditional culture to a more participative culture, and it involved pushing problem-solving and decision-making down to the lowest level. And so there was some training about, what that looked like, and training managers on how to be involved in that role, the problem-solving, and then folks got pretty involved in that right
So
away.
it absolutely applies to that, right? So there were tools that you used within problem-solving decision-making, right? So I assume your organization brought in some tools to teach them root cause analysis, maybe a 5 why tool, how to do a 5 why or process MEAs or an 8D. So there's hard specific tools that are used in training for problem solving, right? Same thing with decision making. If it wasn't a neural loop, it could have been other things. So there are tools you use, right? But if you provide the training ahead of time, saying, hey, we want to push down, we want to address our organizational culture, we want to push things down to a lower level, we want to empower our employees to use these tools to be making decisions and solving problems at a lower level. If that's the intent, but you provide this training on the new tools that they're going to be using, then you roll it out, they're going to struggle with the new applications, and they're going to have specific needs that won't be addressed. So if you would provide the overview training and then you roll it out to the point when they start to struggle, because they'll be stuck here. Okay? When you change the processes, the tools, the thought processes that people are using to do their job, they'll be stuck in this period of doubt and discomfort. Here's where you provide the training. Okay? So here's where you kick it off and everybody's all excited. That's when we do the training. People are all excited. They're not going to remember, right? Because it might be weeks or months until they actually start using the new things, right? So, but then, behavior and performance starts to dip off, right? Now people start to actually use the tools that you give them. They start to experience the new things. Remember, experiences drive beliefs, drive results, drive actions, right? So once they start to have the experiences, you want those experiences to be positive, not negative. So when they're having them and they're starting to use these new tools and processes, that's when you focus the training like a laser, what their specific problems are, what they understand and what they don't understand. You focus in on that. You give them very specific training. It's not going to be in an audience like this with 400 people, right? It might be with 6 people. Here's the specific things. They tell you what they don't understand, where they need help, and then you give them training on those specifics. And what you do is you help pull them up, right? They become your doctors. They start to see things. They start to understand because you've given them training that address their needs, their concerns, that help have them have better experiences, change their beliefs, change the way things are done. Answer your question? So it can apply to a cultural change as well as something specific, absolutely.
Wouldn't it be more ideal to have both? I mean, and I'm thinking stylistically, you know,
Yeah.
I know my need for training before I start anything. I have a great need for training, and then I have a great need for follow-up and
Absolutely. Okay, so the initial training, though, I argue, the initial training should be broad, overview, show the intent. Here's why we're changing. Here's why we're pushing decisions down to a lower level, right? Here's why we want to empower our managers and supervisors to make more decisions. So you give that initial overview training, right? Absolutely. But then, as they roll in and they start using things and stuff, it starts to become what they do on a daily basis. That's when you give them the specific training. So the two absolutely go hand in hand. One's no good without the other. Unfortunately, we often stop with that initial training.
I think it's because you run out of time. And
Pardon me?
probably because you run out of time and resources. You know, you have time to do the initial training. And I
Yeah.
understand there's loss of time with the struggle.
Yeah.
It makes more sense, but I'm thinking about places I've worked before where, you know, you do this training, okay, I hope you have it, we need to get going with this.
Yeah.
You don't have time to bring a guy back to show you, or, you know.
So my field is quality, so I agree with you. I agree with you. And I always tell people, we always have the time to get things wrong, right? We always make time for that, right? So I agree, to find time to fit that into the schedule. But organizations will stay in this period. This is change that is not successful. You haven't affected it, you know, so is it not? Cut your losses. So if you do that training, right, and you can address what they believe to be true by addressing their specific needs and concerns with what you are changing within their organizational life, you can help pull them out. So it's never too late to start, but this is the key to pulling them up and to realizing improved performance.